Digestion. The digestive system does a lot more than just digest your food. In fact, there's actually 6 general functions of the digestive system. There's ingestion, motility, secretion, of course, digestion, and then absorption, and the last one, elimination. In this video, we're going to cover those functions in an overview of the digestive system. The major parts of our digestive system are our oropharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, our small intestine, large intestine, and of course we can't forget about our accessory digestive organs, which secrete our enzymes that we need for digestion, such as the pancreas. To start things off, let's talk about what I struggled with as a child: chewing our food. The technical term for smashing this cereal into bits is mastication. I find it helpful to remember the mastoid process and associate that with mastication. Remember, the mastoid process is located just inferior to the ear and posterior to where your jaw hinges. It's almost like mastication is moving your jaw around your mastoid process. After chewing our food, most of us at least, swallow. This will be ingestion. While ingestion is our first step, it's actually going to be the last voluntary part of this process until we get to the end. As food leaves the oropharynx and moves into the esophagus, the second function of the digestive system kicks in: motility. Now, your esophagus does not rely on gravity to move food into your stomach. Nope, it relies on peristalsis. Peristalsis is the contraction of muscles along behind a food bolus to ensure that food moves in one direction, down. So the smooth muscles of your esophagus contract along down the esophagus until the food reaches the cardiac sphincter and pops into your stomach. Now, the stomach has 2 sphincters, or essentially doorways. The one at the top being named the cardiac sphincter. Now, I imagine that it's named this because it sort of points towards your heart. Or another way to remember this is that if there's any acid splashback which makes it through the cardiac sphincter reaching the esophagus burns, causes a burning pain, which is called heartburn. Speaking of acid, the stomach is responsible for the secretion of acid and enzymes, which aid in the digestion of the ingested food. At this point, the food-acid mixture, which we call chyme, exits through the bottom doorway, the pyloric sphincter, and enters into the duodenum. Now, the duodenum is the first fairly short section of the small intestine, which really just serves as a mixing point for the chyme, the acid in the food, the pancreatic secretions, and bile. These additions allow further digestion, and the mixture then moves into the duodenum. Now, the duodenum is the long, winding portion of the small intestine, and it is responsible for absorption. The duodenum absorbs nutrients from your food. The very last section of the small intestine is the ileum, which serves to deposit what's left into the large intestine. The large intestine is responsible for absorbing water and consequently the solidifying of stool. Now, one main thing to know about the large intestine is that it creates a back and forth movement, and it does this by contracting and relaxing these individual sections of the large intestine, and all of this movement facilitates the absorption of water. Finally, peristalsis moves the fecal matter to a point where there's an urge to defecate, which brings us to our last function of the digestive system: elimination. And that about wraps us up. If you stuck with us to the end, then you now know 6 functions of the digestive system: ingestion, motility, secretion, of course, digestion, absorption, and elimination. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.